Good morning everyone, welcome back to another road trip video with the PHEV and myself of course. We will go for a 100-kilometer trip today with 4 stopovers in between, so I have 4 customers to visit this morning. And unfortunately I have forgotten my little GoPro at work yesterday, so I need to go back to work first, get the little GoPro, and then we go from there. Okay, let's get started. So our car has been fully charged with 8.299 kilowatt hours, which is fairly low actually, but it wasn't completely empty last night. So, and the action cam is mounted, and of course we will have the dog running as well. Yeah, not this dog, this one. And on this 100-kilometer journey we don't have any possibility to recharge the car, so the battery will be totally empty when I come home. I've got another appointment this afternoon, so I need to recharge in between again. And then we will have a look at the consumption in between and the overall consumption at the end of the day. Because this will quite be a 120-kilometer trip or so here. So I don't need to take any charging equipment with me. There's no way to charge in between. Just pure highway, some smaller towns in between, so I'll do a combination of safe, charge and EV driving. And I'll let you know which one is the best, what I think is the best. Okay, I've set up the big camera there on the tripod, which may... Oh, it's actually fairly stable there. Okay, let's start driving then, because we are late anyway. 19 degrees. Okay. Of course. Okay, we've got 41 kilometers on the gasometer. This all on. We've got 98.5%. And yeah, as you can see, my state of health went down again yesterday. I've got heaps of power banks with me to recharge the cameras in between when I've got my appointments, and hopefully everything will just work out as planned. Yeah, this definitely does not work with the camera there, but I knew that before. The morning sound. Yeah, and we've got the little camera back. So, okay, so on my way here, I needed to vlog the car a little bit. And look at this insane 12 ampere hours consumption for the same 15 kilometers, 16 kilometers to work. Yeah, there was a little bit of situation on the highway. I didn't have the camera on. Anyway, so I have almost used half of my available capacity of the battery just to get to work, and this is just the first step of a long journey today. So I will need to use the charge and save button quite a lot, and I'm probably switching to the small camera now to get this all organized. I will program the navigator now with all my destinations and stopovers in between, because I quite like this navigator. I don't like to have another holder somewhere flipping around and rattling around. It has a built-in navigator, I'm using it. And actually it's quite good. And if you are getting used to it, it's not too hard to program. I'll show you in a later video. It's not too hard. I probably prefer this position today for the camera instead of the one under the mirror, because the microphone is just closer and the sound quality might be a little bit better on this side. Okay, I'm switching in 1, 2, 3. And off we go. So this will be a combination of highway drive, 70, 80 kilometer zone, little towns in between. sure if I need to turn on the aircon in between. We are expecting 34 degrees today already, and probably over 40 on the weekend again. So definitely time to use the aircon. But at the moment it should be totally fine. So we are driving a little bit in this little town here, and I'm using of course B0 to coast to the next crossing here, and then go back to B5. I'm not doing a full eco run today, so I will drive normally, but I'll try to save energy, of course, so I'm not flogging it like this morning. That was just insane, really. This lady in her ute, she didn't look, she just changed lane without looking, and I was in her dead spot. And I thought she was pulling over because there was another car merging, and she really did. Without looking in the mirror, without looking over her shoulder, she just pulled over. Yeah, so I activated the horn a little bit for about 15 seconds. And then drove next to her and gave her my angry eyes, because this is just insane. People are just not looking. All right, so an interesting little discussion this morning on the Facebook forum about B0 to B5 settings on highway, and I will show you in 2 minutes when we go to the highway that it does not make any difference at all what B settings you use on a highway. We will have about 8 kilometers of flat highway in front of us. It's totally flat, so there's no elevation at all, and we have no wind this morning. So it's perfectly fine to demonstrate that it totally doesn't matter. It doesn't save you any energy at all if you drive in B0 or B5. So there's no difference. So this is the overpass, and as you can see, I'm using quite a lot of energy while driving. I'm not paying too much attention to all of that here. And of course we're using B5 here, down the road. And this is pretty much my way home, almost. Now we're accelerating to 100 kilometers in electric mode. And at the end of the acceleration lane here, I will have these 100 kilometers easily. And this is in eco mode and electric power only. Okay, so I'm in B5 now. I'm just turning on the cruise control and I'm settling down the speed to 100 kilometers an hour as per odometer. So we're doing around 95 now, and I'm Okay, so we are driving in B0 now. Hang on, back to the 100. Okay. So B0, you watch the power meter, and I'm going into B5 now. So what do you see with the power meter? It didn't move a bit. So it does not matter if you're driving in B5 like now, or if you go back in B0, any other B setting in between. The power meter does not move. The car uses the same energy as before. It does not matter what B setting you use on a highway. Also, if you use B0, because someone claimed B0 uses less energy on the highway because you can coast the car. No, you can't. If you look at the power meter, you're constantly putting energy into the car to keep the 100 kilometers per hour. If I would take my foot off to coast, the car would slow down. See, the speed goes down, and then I need to put even more energy in it to get back to 100. So there's no energy saving at all. Totally not worth doing anything like this. But this is only on a really flat highway like this here now. Or if you go uphill, of course you don't use coast, because you need to propel the car. Yeah, you need to put energy into the car. If you go downhill, totally different situation. If you go downhill, you can probably coast if it's steep enough. Of course you can. And then B0 on a highway makes sense. But this is the only situation you do that. But if I would do it here, see, on B0 it coasts now. I'm not saving energy. The speed goes down, and to get back to 100 I need to put even more energy. See, the power meter goes over the word eco. I need to put more energy in it. So there's no way to coast on a highway unless it goes downhill. Myth busted. Okay, so we are down to 48. I'm not recording the dog because... should I record the dog? Are you interested in the dog as well? I can potentially do that. But I'm happy to read out the state of charge a couple of times from time to time to keep you posted what's going on. I should probably record the dog as well. But it might be boring to see all these numbers. These girls in the truck there, they were all looking over. They've never seen an electric vehicle, never. So I'm coasting now because we need to turn here. I'm going in B5, not using any friction brakes, not using any pedals at all, just on B5, perfectly fine to go around this corner here. That's my daily commute, part of the daily commute. It is a habit to go back to B0. But there's no difference to drive on this road in B0 or B5. See, it uses the same power in the power meter. See, we are a little bit above the O of the word eco in the power meter. If I go back to B0 now, it stays on the same power. So the power input of the car is exactly the same. It does not matter. Potentially slow down here. It's a 90 or 80 kilometer zone here. If we go down to 60, for example, yeah, and I put the cruise control in, so we're coasting with 60. Really not much energy input, and we are driving in B5, and I'm going back to D mode, and you watch the power meter. So we're driving in D now, and I'm reading the dog for you. We are driving with 5 kilowatt of energy usage at the moment, and I'm going back into B5. See, the power meter has not moved, and we are still using 5 kilowatt. It's not like B5 makes the car to overcome more brake resistant, as many people think. That is not the case. I need to do a separate video for the B settings and how it actually works and what it does to the car. Because people think it makes the car brake, but that's not true. It just remaps your acceleration pedal. That's all it does. So there's no braking happening while you are driving. It's just when you take your foot off the accelerator, you will feel the regen, because the 0 point of your accelerator is remapped. It's further down, basically in the blue area of charge already, in regards to the power meter. But don't worry about this. I'll do a separate video about this, and yeah, it is confusing, especially when you have the car new, and sometimes you experience this. You are driving without cruise control on a slow speed, and then you put the car in B5 and it brakes. It feels like the car is decreasing speed, but this is only because the mapping of the accelerator is being pushed down more into the charge area. Hard to explain if you can't show any pictures. Oh, they have renewed some tarmac here, some asphalt. These are all shocking roads here, really. All stitched together. I call this here the Frankenstein road. There are bits and pieces of asphalt here and there. Wow. Okay, and also welcome back to sunny, hot Australia. We have only 22 degrees at the moment, but look at the weather. Not many clouds, a little bit in the distance over the mountains, that's all. I need to check the GoPro from time to time if it still records, but there should be no problem. I had the situation with the large camera. It stopped recording after a while because it breaks the recording files down to 4 gigabyte files, and I didn't realize that at the beginning. And yeah, 16 minutes is about 4 gig of recording, and I was talking longer into the camera and it stopped recording, and I said, oh god, shit. So I needed to watch the footage back and see where it stopped and then record it from there again, but it's still not the same. So, but the GoPro does a different thing. It splits up your recording in 2 gigabyte chunks, so you can keep it going, and you will have 2 gigabyte files, and you can stitch them together in the tractor. Program later on. Okay, so guys, we need to make a decision now. We've got 32.4% state of charge. I've used all my electric energy now and have driven 35.5 kilometers. The engine will kick in any time now, and then we drive in parallel hybrid mode, or at least in hybrid mode. So the engine will propel the car and recharge the battery for about 2 or 3%, and then the car uses this energy again until this cycle starts again. Okay, there's the engine. 36 kilometers made. As yeah, there was almost all highway drive, or 100 kilometers. So that's the maximum. And I said I really flogged the car this morning on my way to work to pick up the camera and other stuff. I forgot yesterday. So let me have a look. So far we have consumed 210 watt hours per kilometer, which is quite a lot. Okay, so what I will do, because I know we will head to some little towns and I don't want to drive with petrol engine in these towns, I'll activate the charge mode now to recharge the battery while we are driving on these 100 kilometers roads. I'll set the cruise control as well to 100 kilometers, so I don't need to pay attention. And the state of charge is down to 30.1% at the moment. I thought I'll leave the camera on so you can enjoy the landscape here, because some people told me they are interested how it looks like here where I live in this area. So I'm happy to provide you with some Australian countryside footage. I don't know if you can see that there's an airplane. Someone put this on a pole over there. I tried to zoom in on the video and you can see this. This is their drive-in, their gate basically to the property, and they put a plane on top of the posts. So you need to drive under the plane into the property. Quite funny. Yeah, we are still in charge mode, and we have 5 kilometers left on the gasometer again. And we are at 38.1% state of charge so far. And I think if you have an empty battery, or if you know you need some battery power left for the rest of your journey, and you're driving these roads like highways or 100 kilometers roads, the charge mode is the correct way to use, because it will recharge your battery to about 80% if you want to, if you need that much, and it is fairly efficient to do that, because the engine runs on the most efficient part anyway now, which is quite nice. And it's not too hard for the engine to charge the battery at the same time a little bit. And as a side note, the battery cooling has just kicked in. And we have only 23 degrees outside, but yeah, as I said, I flogged the car this morning and I was driving on pure EV on the highway, which quite uses a lot of energy, and it has already heated up the battery. Totally fine. And this is probably the most efficient way to drive now with the 95 kilometers an hour. This is the sweet spot of the car, yeah? Most efficient driving for the petrol engine. As we go in the 80 zone here, I'll let the car coast. And let's see if the charging of the battery stops. That's the blue arrow at the top. Yep, it stops already. So the petrol engine has not enough power now to charge the battery at the same time as driving the car. Still in B0. I leave the car in B0 now because we will come to a long downhill section now into this little town here of Lowood, and I'll turn off the charge mode as well because the car almost coasts all the way down to the town, and we will use only a little bit of electricity to keep the car propelled and in motion. So there's no way to run the engine, it just recharge the battery. I can, yeah, it's more efficient to turn it off and let the car just roll and coast. And I'll stop the charge mode probably right now. Bang. There, it's off now. Yeah, B0, no energy use at all. We're going even faster than the 80 kilometers now. A little bit of energy here because there are cars behind me. And I don't want to be a dick and hold anyone up here. And then we can coast again here. Nice downhill section into this little township. Coasting, coasting, coasting. It's probably close to 600-700 meters of coasting here, where we don't use any energy at all, which is nice. We still have 8 kilometers on the gasometer, the same as when I turned off the charge mode. Welcome to Lowood. And look at this beautiful weather. Amazing. Amazing. We're still coasting with almost 80 kilometers an hour. And it's 60 here. So I'm applying B2 mode. Slow down the car a little bit. And then we go from here. See, the last time we went over this hill just straight above and on the other way down, that's the shorter way to go to the other side of the town, but this time I'm driving through town. Just want to show you a little bit how I drive in town situations like this here. So I'm turning left here using B5, no brakes. Here I'm going back into B0. Coasting. Coasting, coasting. Back into B5. fine. No brake power. And we're still on 8 kilometers. And we probably traveled about close to 1.2, 1.3 kilometers now. And the gasometer didn't went down, which is awesome. The wrong turn. That's the school drop-off lane here. Shit. Wrong turn off, Andy. Wrong turn off. Okay. And let's just turn around here. There we go. School buses and little kids everywhere. Wow. And the police car. They are questioning someone. What is the bus doing on my lane? Alrighty. I should have followed the signs. Fernvale, Brisbane, that's this turn off here. Come on, drive! Oh, I need to brake now. Oh, no blinker oil. I have no blinker oil. Okay, now we are on the right track again. So, coming out of this little town. Just need to check the camera again. I'm not sure if it's still recording. I don't want to talk all the time and the camera is not recording. That would be insane. Okay. Back in B0, nice downhill section. Coasting down with 60 kilometers an hour. Again here, and I'm going back to charge mode because we have only 6 kilometers left on the gasometer now, and I need some more battery energy when we go into the Fernvale town. I think I told you before, this is the Brisbane River here on the left hand side, I think. Yeah, it is. And when we had the flood, all this valley here was up to this left hand side section here. It was full of water. It always amazes me when I drive here and I said, oh, this was about 6-7 meters underwater already, this road here. To apply some brake settings. It's a winding road. 23 outside, but with the sun it's heating up quite a lot. Someone is sleeping in front of this queue here. All the cars are lining up. I'm driving only a little bit over 80 in this 100 zone. Maybe they are doing a hypermiling test and put this video on Facebook or so, I don't know, I'm not sure. It's quite a lot of traffic here this morning. Actually there's no traffic at all usually here. But it's early in the morning, you know, people are going to work and driving back and forward. And they're all relying on their cars here. It doesn't matter, we are coming to a 60 zone. So I go back to B0 and turn off the charge mode and let the car coast. Because it goes downhill here again. We have charged 9 kilometers. And now they're all braking. I'm not. I'm regenning. So I'm going up and down with the pedals. Oh, this is a stinker here. There's smoke coming out of his exhaust. Yeah, and we've got school zone 40 kilometer. You have to be very careful. There are sometimes police sitting here and yeah, check the speed of cars in these school zones, which is totally fine. There should be more police on the road anyway to check speed. Definitely. Yeah, that's the school on the right hand side here. And we are going right. These ladies here, they are called Lollipop Ladies because they are holding this sign up and it looks like a lollipop. My wife has actually done this job for about a year or so when we started here in Australia. And yeah, it's not the best job because you're standing outside twice a day for an hour and stopping cars when little children want to cross the road. And as you can imagine, it will be quite hot in summertime and it can be quite nasty in winter time when it's cold and rainy and stormy. So anyway, you have to start somewhere. Washing dishes, and later on you will find a better job. So we are now in Fernvale, little town of Fernvale. It's quite nice here actually, but it's not much going on here. I've got these couple of shops here on the left hand side. There are a lot of motorbikes here on the weekend because this is a scenic route here from Brisbane to the Wivenhoe Dam, and a lot of motorbike riders I should say, coming along this way here and making a stopover in Fernvale and having a coffee here and a meat pie, of course. Okay, so we are almost here at my first stopover. And I will recharge the cameras. Another Outlander, non-electric. Nah, not interested. Fernvale Village is it called, which is the local small shopping center. Oh, there's a Kia Soul, just a red car just now. This is available as electric car as well, but fortunately not here in Australia. Okay, parking right here. Okay, first stopover. I'm recharging all my equipment now, and we see us in about half an hour. Would be nice if they have a quick charger here now, or a charger at all for the car, so I can actually charge my car as well, not only the cameras. And you know what, we can have a quick look at what we have achieved so far. So electric energy consumption is 13.5 and 3.3 liters per 100 kilometers in average for the whole trip, and this was 65 kilometers trip so far. I'll do the maths later. 39.5%. Yeah, the fan is running on 50%, so the aircon kicks in to cool my battery down, and yeah, no surprises here. Actually wondering why the battery cooling is kicking in, because we've got only 33 degrees here. It usually kicks in above 35. Okay, we are turning everything off now. Stop live data, turning off the car, and we see us soon.